The adventure continues this week on Ford Outfitters.
Yeah, my drive to work in the morning isn't your average drive to work. This is a hog. It was sort of a last chance. Nobody around, totally off the grid. Donkey, I think you got the big one. I think I do, brother. I think I do. Catching the biggest freshwater fish I've ever caught in my life. I would never have been able to do without a guy like Jason. Keep pressure on him, that's all a guy can do.
4 expert sportsmen on a mission to find North America's top hunting and fishing outfitters. The ones that create the unforgettable adventures and bring us that trophy of a lifetime.
Totally stoked.
Each week, one member of our dream team hits the road in an F-Series truck in a search of the hardest working men and women in the outdoors. This is The Outfitters. 465 miles upriver from the Pacific Ocean, Lewiston, Idaho has the unique distinction as the farthest inland seaport on the West Coast. Located at the confluence of the mighty Clearwater and Snake Rivers, Lewiston is the gateway to Hell's Canyon National Recreation Area, home base for outfitter Jason Schultz. As the name implies, Hell's Canyon can be rough on gear.
Now, all the boats that we run are specific for the waters that we run here, and they're all inboard motors like 350s, 6 liters, 6.2s. And they run a Hamilton jet, which allows us to have a lot of power, and they're really tough boats. I mean, we run huge rapids, oftentimes, not that you want to, but you'll hit a rock here or there. Yo, Andy, hey, what's up?
How's it going, Jason?
It's going good, man. How's the boat coming?
Good, about done.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Good. You know, hopefully the damage issue is on the low side, but maintenance is huge. Andy, what's going on down here?
That's some grease zerks. We machine the bushings that are in there. They get gummy and sticky.
Wow, that's smooth now.
Yeah.
In order for us to do the kind of job we need to do, we have to rely on our equipment. And no matter how hard you try, there's gonna be issues. If I miss 1 or 2 days because the boat won't run, man, that's no good. I mean, fishing seasons are limited, you know. I'll lose my income and I can't make those days up.
From the mechanic to the car wash, all in a day's preparation.
You know, one thing that my clients really know me for is I keep my equipment up and I keep it clean. And they really appreciate that. And I can honestly say, though, after 20 years of scrubbing boats, I really dislike washing boats. You know, I always knew that I wanted to fish, even as a kid. And when I was 16, I saw a television show that featured sturgeon fishing in Hell's Canyon. And I just couldn't wait to get there and experience it myself. And so I saved my money, and I did. I went on an outfitted sturgeon fishing trip, was able to see what it was all about, and I actually fell in love with Hell's Canyon. And at that point, I knew that when I was out of high school, that's the direction I wanted to go. And I did it. I did it for myself. I moved to the area. Eventually was able to start my own outfitting business, and here I am 20 years later doing what I love to do, and that's outfit on the Snake River here in Hell's Canyon. Jason. Conway? Good to see you, man. Good morning.
All right, hey, got a little bit of weather, but who cares, right? We're going fishing.
Yeah, we won't melt. Yeah, you know, sturgeon, they're amazing, virtually unevolved. And modern studies show that these fish will live about 100 years, roughly. And in these waters of Snake River and Hell's Canyon, a 100-year-old fish can grow to be about 10 feet long.
Few outdoor theaters are as unforgiving as Hell's Canyon, where the prime fishing spots are guarded by Class 4 whitewater.
Oh my God!
Once navigated, the real battle begins.
Wow!
As freshwater sport fish go, the white sturgeon is unrivaled in size, strength, and stamina. Landing one of these prehistoric relics becomes a test of will. Can Conway persevere? When The Outfitters returns.
Can't stop this.
The Outfitters is brought to you by the 2015 Ford Super Duty.
How did these sturgeon hit? Is it a really violent hit, or is it more of a kind of a delicate hit?
Well, it can be either way. You know, if they're really on the bite, I mean, half the time you'll just feel a tap, 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 and then the rod will bend over. They'll just swallow it and swim off.
Idaho's Snake River flows south to north on its circuitous path to the confluence with the mighty Columbia. Lewiston is the ideal jumping-off point to access one of Jason's favorite sturgeon haunts.
You know, the Snake River within Hell's Canyon is actually created the deepest gorge in North America. It's 2,000 feet deeper than the Grand Canyon, and it's comprised almost entirely of basalt volcanic rock. One of the key pieces to outfitting in this area is our equipment, and the main piece of equipment is obviously our boats. They're special built to our areas because of the rugged waters that we run, and they need to be built super tough. And they're so maneuverable. These jets, they transfer the power from the engine to the water just incredibly well. And the design of the steering that we have is called stick steering. And instead of a wheel, you just have essentially a lever. And with a small amount of movement with your hand, the boat will turn like on a dime. It's pretty darn fun to actually drive these boats.
God, look at that hook. And he's got a whole steelhead on there. Wow.
You know, one thing that's unique to Idaho is the fact that the state allows us to use trout for bait. The rigging for sturgeon is relatively simple. It's your standard 3-way rig. You know, I have about a 2.5 foot long leader, tie a 10-aught style octopus hook to the end of my leader, and the weight is attached to about a 1-foot-long dropper, which slides on the line. And that way, if you get your weight stuck on the bottom to where you break off, that way the weight is not permanently attached to your leader. We can run 2 rods per person with our 2-rod permits. So we put a little salmon meat on this hook. Let's try to figure out what they're eating today.
Okay, so Jason and I left the ramp and we made a fairly short run. It wasn't too far to the first hole. And we dropped our baits and we were doing a technique called back bouncing.
Basically just gonna hover in here. I'm gonna use my trolling motor to control the boat.
Okay.
We're gonna sit over top the hole. And we're just gonna bounce the weight on the bottom. As the boat moves, just keep moving the weight with it.
Got it, okay.
You're just gonna be feeling for the bite.
Wow, now that's a first. I've never seen a rock ever caught. Wow.
I actually caught a rock. What is,
On a barbless
what kind of omen is that?
I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out, right? It is gonna rain, it looks like. Maybe it'll be a tornado.
An ominous portent? Not likely, but rather a clue that the bait is reaching the proper depths for coaxing a bottom-hugging leviathan. Jason sets course upriver for a deep line. Conway likes what he sees and smells.
I got out and I think I even said, this smells like a fishy spot. It looked great, it smelled great, and you know, we had some pretty fast action right off the bat. Tappy, tap, tap. Got him.
There we go. Yeah. Game on, baby.
That was a great little hit though. So all my research on sturgeon, all I see are big fish. You know, you see an 8-footer, 7-footer.
There he is.
Look at that, nice.
Nice little starter fish for the morning. Look how pale he is.
I know, interesting.
I'm gonna go ahead and let him go, Conway.
Okay, great. Awesome, very good. And that's
All
the way
right,
to
cool.
start the morning, bro.
Good job.
Thank you, it's good.
All right, let's get a bait on there and we'll get back down to the hole.
I got one.
Game on.
Yeah, he was just sitting on it. So the first couple of fish I caught were small fish, but those fish are really hard fighters. I mean, for the size that they were, I mean, they really put me to task on the heavy equipment.
Yeah. Had him hooked good.
Yeah, man, nice. So I can't imagine how a larger sturgeon's gonna fight if I get the chance at one. Oh, it's a big one.
Oh, let's see. Where's my fighting belt? Can you say big boy?
How about big girl?
Big girl. I think you got Babette on there.
Babette. Good gosh. Downtown, baby. She's making these runs and then she kind of just stops and then she runs again and just kind of hovers down there.
You know, your average large sturgeon takes somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes to land.
No. No. This is why they call it Hell's Canyon, right?
It's hell.
It's not some guy looking over the top, it's some guy in a boat going, ah, this is hell.
You know, catching a fish like this on rod and reel is like hunting buffalo with a slingshot.
Exactly. I love that analogy. You know, we got the fish up finally, and when I got a look at it, I went, oh my gosh. And so we worked it back towards the shore. Jason got the boat in position, he hopped off the boat.
That's a good solid 7.5 foot sturgeon.
Oh my gosh.
There we go. That's the nice thing about these. You get them turned upside down and they go docile. It's like they got a pre-made handle right here in their bottom lip. And that barbless hook comes out nice and easy.
So I hopped off the boat, and Jason and I were just admiring the beauty of the fish.
That's a great white sturgeon.
And what a fight. I mean, this fish just beat the crap out of me.
You know, in this cooler water in the spring, they have more stamina.
Yeah.
And they will fight a little harder.
And just looking at that creature that honestly really probably has never evolved. I mean, it's still it looks exactly what it did, you know, a million years ago. But that fish matched with the wonderful setting, with the canyon. It was a perfect situation, a perfect setting, a perfect scenario to catch a big fish in the Snake River.
Even on this remote, wild, and scenic river, epic fishing can't be kept secret.
Perfect timing. Looks like these guys figured out where we're fishing.
When the Outfitters returns,
There aren't any fish here. Don't come here, please.
how far into the depths of Hell's Canyon will Conway and Jason dare? The morning stillness belies the dangers of venturing into Hell's Canyon.
So on the second day, Jason and I decided to really run way up in Hell's Canyon because I only got a taste of it the first day. We didn't run very far up the canyon, but I really wanted to see the canyon at its most beautiful, and that's going way up. So he goes, "You really want to do that?" I said, "Let's do it."
You're gonna have your hands full, you get a big one, I promise that.
Well, I can't wait. Well, let's get it done, man.
We're gonna get it done.
All right, cool.
All right. My plan is we're gonna go clear into the deep, deep, deep part of Hell's Canyon. We're gonna go 90 miles upstream. We're gonna go through class 3 and 4 whitewater.
And it was a 3-hour run. So we went and went and went and went forever. The further we went up, the more sort of steep the canyon got and the more beautiful it got, and the basalt rocks coming down into this beautiful river. And as I said, the rapids were going, and it was intense.
Any fish that lives to be a century becomes tough to fool when targeting oversized sturgeon. Jason seeks out the freshest of bait. To find it requires a 3-hour run from the ramp to the aptly named Bait Eddy.
Conway, you ready to go to work?
I am ready.
All right.
Jason pulled the boat in, and I woke up.
Just pitch it out there on the edge of that current.
He said, "Let's catch some bait." I'm like, "Bait? Okay." You know, I'm thinking we're gonna catch herring or something. Well, we actually caught bait. I like it. So that's a steelhead smoke.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And you can see it's a hatchery fish. See how the fins are clipped off of it? Come on in. Welcome aboard, baby.
That's got 1,000-pound white sturgeon written all over it.
Yeah, we did what we came here to accomplish. We caught a half a dozen steelhead smoke for sturgeon bait. And it's time to go drop a line for sturgeon now, so let's get out of here.
The bait is still kicking by the time they reach the first sturgeon hole.
Even though that journey up the canyon was long, the entire time going through my mind was, you know, I'm gonna get a big fish.
Looks like we got us a little guy. Conway's first fish was the smallest fish.
So we can't bring them out of the water because they're protected, right?
Yeah, they're catch and release only, and law doesn't allow us to actually take them out of the water, so.
Very cool. So what happens if all three go off at once?
Ooh, we got our hands full then.
You know, you'd think a big fish like a sturgeon would just slam a bait, but it seems like they just kind of tickle it with their whiskers.
Oh yeah, we got him. Fish on, baby. Woo!
Yep. Come here, you. Over, under.
Rodeo.
Oh, there you go. Oh, look at the size of that thing. Oh my gosh. Good God, that thing's huge, dude. Yeah, this is a little bit different than the first one. He's peeling line. Come on, baby.
Hey, Conway.
Yeah.
Do you want Heather's fighting belt?
I do, yeah, it'd be great, actually.
Okay, let me get my wife's fighting belt out for you.
Your wife, of course. There we go. Kind of broke him there a little bit. Awesome.
There you go.
Awesome. It's coming right at me now.
Woo!
So I'm battling this fish. I'm keeping a very high rod angle because I want to keep the fish's head up because it was trying to work its way out into the current. Right back out where he started. And if that fish got into that current, it was gone. I was not going to be able to hold him on. There he is. You know, Jason's awesome. You know, he understands these fish and how they hit. One thing he stressed was, you know, you got to wait. Don't set the hook right off the bat. Let him hit, boom, 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 and then come tight and then set. And I did exactly that.
You know, once we get the sturgeon fought over to the side, we'll pull it up along shore, you know, being careful not to take it out of the water. Well, this old girl still got some pretty sharp spines on her back, really, for as old as it is. You can see these little eyes they got. They say the eyes really don't see a whole lot.
Yeah, they're teeny compared to the size of the body.
There's one bone in a sturgeon.
Really?
Ooh, one bone in a sturgeon, and that's the skull. The top plate of the skull is a bone, and the rest is cartilage.
So they're like a shark.
They're like a shark, yep.
So when we were ready to release the fish, Jason said, you know, you have to name the fish.
Sophie, how's that?
Sophie, give her a kiss on the
Sophie.
head and just get her head pointed the right direction and she'll know what to do.
All right, sweetheart, here we go. Thank you so much, that was awesome. Gave the sturgeon a kiss, and I pushed Sophie off the shore and she swam off like nothing had happened. Look at that, unbelievable.
See you, sweetheart.
Dude, that was unreal.
Good job, bro.
Woo!
All right.
There she goes.
Well, we've done our scouting. We've got a great camping location picked out. Now we've got to set up some tree stands for our clients that are coming in. I've also got to check trail cameras and figure out where the animals are at. This is the Built Tough Field Test. As an outfitter, I'm tying stuff down in the bed of my truck every single day. Tie down cleat over there. I'm using the tie down cleats, thank you sir, to ratchet stuff in like my tree stands that I need to take into rough country. Like every guy, my truck is my workshop. The fact that I'm in a remote camp and my Ford Touch is Wi-Fi compatible, I can pull up and show my buddy video that I've taken from my trail cameras right in the truck. Hey, before we go get the horses, let's hop in the truck and I want to show you some of the video we've been pulling off these trail cameras. Some of the animals that are right here where we're going to be hunting. Awesome. All right. Look at those elk that are hitting that water hole. I think that's going to be a good spot for one of us. I think that tree stand that we set up might be another good spot.
Yeah, definitely.
Isn't that awesome? Look at that. That's a good bull. I'm ready to go hunting, buddy. How about you? To see what happens, log on to thefordoutfitters.com.
Enter for your chance to win the official ride of the Outfitters, the all-new 2015 Ford F-150 with EcoBoost, or win one of 4 perfect weekend adventures designed by the Outfitters hosts. 6 million years ago, the Snake River began carving the plateau dividing Oregon and Idaho, forming Hell's Canyon. Despite the connotations, this wild and scenic river is best described as heaven on earth.
Jason said I want to try the spot where we started this morning, where I caught the first fish. And I remember early in the day he had kind of referred, we may come back to this spot.
We have high water right now, and if this is one of the kind of spots I always keep leaning back towards in high water. It's got the real big eddy, and as you can see, we're just floating in the eye of the pool right here, how smooth it is.
So Jason, we're doing something different here, right?
You know, this time instead of throwing anchor out and staying positionary, we're vertical. We're circling around in the hole and we're just fishing straight down. We're just using our reels to let line out and take line in as we need to as the depth changes. We're just trying to cover a little more water. You could call it back bouncing.
I think I just got bumped.
I just got bumped too. Did you just get bumped?
I got ripped.
I wonder if that was me, because I felt...
You know, we're bouncing, and within probably 10 minutes, I had a hit. I'm like, man, that feels pretty good. Then I hit again.
Oh yeah, baby. Yeah! Come on,
One more,
sucker on in.
One more.
Wait till you feel the weight of the fish.
Yeah.
Yeah!
Oh my gosh. Oh,
Yeah, that's
huge,
it.
a
That's
huge
the one.
fish.
That is a huge one.
That is a huge fish, dude.
That's the one we've been waiting
That is
for.
a huge fish. I feel something that I have never felt in fresh water before, and that was the rod tip just go like, and it was just bending. I'm like, okay, this is a really, really big fish. Oh my God.
This is another cool thing about no anchor. We got no anchor rope to worry about. We're free and clear. Donkey, I think you got the big one.
I think I do, brother. I think I do.
You know, I love being in the outfitting business. This is my office, Hell's Canyon, and we come out here and visit these spots and bang these big fish out of here, and let me grab the fighting belt for you. You know, when I can come all the way up in here and let people experience the beauty of Hell's Canyon.
Dude, there he goes. I can't stop this fish.
Keep pressure on him, it's all a guy can do.
I know it's a big fish. It's running in the middle of the river and it's not moving. It's basically just on the bottom and it's peeling my line off the reel. I'm like, oh man. And I've caught some big fish, you know, in my life, but I'm like, holy smokes.
Man, it's kind of comfortable down here. How's it up there with that big fish on board?
It's comfortable yet tiring.
I couldn't think of anything I'd rather do. It's kind of a dream for me.
This is a whole different animal, man. This thing's big.
It reminds me
Really, really, really big.
of how lucky we are to do this and how special this really is.
Can't stop this fish. Oh, jeez. The battle just goes on. You got a glove, like a fighting glove? Such a wimp. And on and on and on and on. The fish kind of comes up. There we go. Now he's out of the rubble. Oh, thank you.
Oh, on the reel there.
Yeah, I know.
We're down there. There we go.
He's running back out. Finally, Jason positioned the boat in shallow water. Oh my gosh, look at this thing. I kept maximum pressure on that fish and got it up, and I saw the fish. I'm like, oh my gosh, Jason.
Look at that hook. It's just like hardly even in there.
Barely in there, dude. So the sturgeon was every bit of 8 feet. I mean, it was massive. That is a monster. Look at that. Jason, this is actually the way to end the day, brother.
I know.
mean, you can't ask for anything better than that.
Well, it's a beautiful fish, and you know, you think about it, we got like 3 hours of boat ride just to get back. And
Yeah,
we're gonna be pushing daylight.
Let's call it, because I can't, you know, I said that earlier today. Oh, I can't get better than this, and then I got a bigger one. Dude, I never even expected something this fantastic. I mean, I'm pretty much speechless.
I'm glad you had a good time, and I'm glad we were able to hook into some big fish, because you know, you deserve it. You know what you're doing, and
Yeah, but it doesn't matter how good somebody is. It's about the outfitter and the guide, knowing the water and giving some really great local institutional knowledge, man. I'll tell you,
yeah,
this
right
worked
on.
out great.
Appreciate that. It's what we do, man. It's what we do.
Yes. There you go, brother.
Good job.
Tune in next week as Haley Heath heads to the Lone Star State in the Ford Super Duty in pursuit of the wild and exotic Axis deer.